Hello. In today's video, we'll be going over what you can do in sheets in Visual DB. If you want to know how to set up a sheet like this, we have videos available going over that. But anyway, let's get right into it. The first thing that I'm going to go over is grouping. So basically what grouping does is we already have this set up, but basically we can group different records by certain fields. So in this example, first we are grouping by the department. We have all of our different departments and we can group by that. And then we are grouping by the project title. So we have all the different records that are associated with one project. So we can also see that. So that is grouping. The next thing that I'm going to go over is sorting. So you can click here. We can pick a field to sort by. I am going to sort by status. So if we click that, now we can see we can sort Z to A or A to Z. And then on top of that, we can add another sort. So let's say, for example, we're sorting by assigned to. Now, what this will do is this is a secondary sort. So for example, if there is a tie for the first sort, the secondary sort will resolve that tie. So if we see right here, these two records that are both completed, how their order will be decided is by the second. And if we flip it around, we can see that this order is also flipped around. So I'm going to remove those sorts. You can remove them by just clicking the X on the left, and that is sorting. The next thing that I'm going to do is filtering. What filtering is used for is if you're trying to look for records that meet a certain condition. So for this example, I'm going to use %complete. And let's say I want all records that are greater than 50% done. I'm going to apply. And we can see now all the records, if we look on the %complete field, they are all above 50% done. We can also flip this around and make this less than, and we can apply that, and we can see these are also less than 50% done. To remove our filter, we just press the clear button, and we'll see everything is back to normal. The next thing that I want to go over is incremental search. So in the top right, if you quickly want to find records that have certain things in the fields, you can do it up in the top right using incremental search. So I'm going to look for all completed things, and we can see boom, 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 boom. These are all the completed things. But it will match to any field that has that text. So if I type, for example, COMP, we'll see that it also matches to competitor. So you're not just limited to one thing, it can match to multiple different fields. So just keep that in mind. Incremental search is used for more general quick access. If you want something more specific, you should use the filter button. From there, let's go over how to add a new field. So if we see in the bottom left, we see a little plus button, we're going to click that. And we can put in a project title. Let's say this is market research. And here we have available values. So we set that up in an earlier video, so if you want to check that out. But now what we're going to do is we're going to press the three little buttons, and we will see that a related table was brought up. Basically, there's employee IDs and their names. So we can pick one. And we'll see that first it starts as a number, and that's what's being stored in the database. But when Visual DB reads what's in the database, since we have available values, it translates it into the name, which is more readable while still being efficient in only storing numbers and not names in the database. Next, we're going to go to status. And again, we have available values. We have a start date. And since the data type here is a date type, we can double click and this menu will pop up where we can choose a date. Next, we're going to do an estimate. Maybe it's 20. Expected end date. Once again, we're going to double click and we can click a date. Next, we have %complete. Maybe it's 30% complete. We have a priority to make it high priority. And then finally, we have billable, which is a true or false field. Think of it like a Boolean field. So this is true, this is false. Let's say it is billable. And then if we want to save these changes, VisualDB does not auto-save changes in Sheets. The reason why we do that is first, we can review our changes. So right here, we have the menu for updates, or in other words, changes to pre-existing records. We have deletes, so if you remove a record from your database. And then finally, we have new. And this is the record that we added, and we can see it's here. We're going to save, and the changes are saved. So the next thing that we can do is we can edit a record, right? And we can just go in and double click whatever field we want to change. So for example, let's say this got changed to a different person. We're going to change that. We're going to go to changes, review those changes, and we can see in the updates menu, we can see what is highlighted to being changed. Notice here that this has the ID. So that's showing what's actually being stored in your database. So we're going to save. We can see those changes are saved. And then finally, we can delete. So how we do that is we click our record, and then we go up to the delete button. It'll say, do you want to delete this record? And then it will show the primary key of that record. We're going to press OK, and we see it's gone. We can review the changes. We can see in deletes, it pops up, and we can press save. There is one more reason why we have a save changes button, and that reason is to preserve record integrity. So there might be an issue where multiple people are using a record, and one might edit one field and the other might edit another. And basically, we don't want these edits being interleaved, or basically both of these records popping up at the same time. So basically how this is solved is that the save changes will reject any record if it is not the most up-to-date version of that record. So just keep that in mind, that that feature is there. And that is Sheets in VisualDB. Thank you for listening.